Good evening, everybody, and welcome tonight to the 9 o'clock update. This is day number 36, and everyone's jumping in here from all over the place. Thank you for being here tonight, and I want to give a big shout out to my IA boys. Welcome tonight. Glad you're here, and thank you for sharing it as you guys are doing it. I sincerely appreciate it. Menningers, God bless you. That's 31 years working in Ukraine, guys. Rogam in Midlothian, Virginia. Big shout out to Lynn and Harold, the baseball man. There you go, Rick Powers. Welcome to you. Nathan Fody, what's up, PG? Long time. Well, it's about time you get in here. Come on, brother. You've got to pick it up with your brother. Ben, Nate, some serious musicians right there. That's California and Texas. Welcome, buddy. Big shout out tonight to my man, Charles Powell, Georgia, Heather Chado, Knoxville, Tennessee, Shirley Phelps, Washington State, the beautiful city of Longview, Washington. Love it. And going to be a good night. We are literally locked and loaded. So much. Jania was going to be on with me tonight, but we prepared this evening and afternoon so many things that I sent him to bed, and we'll get Jania tomorrow night. I do have some stuff I'll share with you. He's doing well, and we'll have him in here tomorrow night. Big Ugly, how about some thankful hands from you? Appreciate you, buddy. And if Big Ugly's mama's in here, God bless you, Mama of Big Ugly. I know it sounds like code language, folks, but it's not. It's people's names. I mean, Big Ugly, I'd rather call him Little Pretty, but Big Ugly works. Hey, Michael Johnson, welcome. All right, folks, let's get to it. So much tonight. I've got a tremendous amount of video. Tonight, we're going to talk about Abkhazia. We take it deeper than what's going on, of course, and we want to jump right to it. So I want to start with right now, nonstop in just sporadic breaks. These are the regions of Ukraine that are under air raid sirens. Basically, the entire nation. It goes from one oblast to another. If we go to our handy dandy map, it's very easy to see why. Basically, Russia controls all of this territory completely. They've pushed in here. They've pushed in here. So, of course, we're seeing the air raid sirens going off throughout the rest of Ukraine. And there's been some pretty significant strikes today. There were significant strikes yesterday, but I did not have enough details to give you the update, but I will give them to you tonight. So we'll see, but constant air raids are happening. Thank you for being here and supporting. And there's just a lot to look at, but right now, 9:08 p.m. Eastern, 6:08 p.m. Pacific, and 4:08 a.m. in Ukraine, the sirens are ringing. Let's go do a couple of things, because you guys are always sending stuff in, and I want to say thank you for that. We've got I Stand With Ukraine, with the American flag and Ukrainian flag, next to the USMC veteran flag. That is the home of Gomer Pyle. Actually, it's not. It's the home of Chido, who's a big help to us and a big help to me. And that's where I'll leave it. So thank you, guys. There's their flag. And on the right, we are growing so quickly. We've actually picked up cats. And that's not Joe Biden. That is Joe the cat. And if you look in the background on the screen there, Joe is watching the update. And so, Joe, welcome to the updates. Glad I can keep the cats informed. Folks, a little bit of your resources, your time, your efforts. We try to keep the story going so that you can see that you are making a difference in the war in Ukraine right from your home, wherever it may be, by being here, by understanding the truth, by liking, sharing. If you're on YouTube right now, please hit that like button. It's vitally important. It just helps get the message out to more people, algorithms, and all the computer stuff. So thank you for that. Facebook as well, but much more on YouTube. So this is what we've got going on. I'll make them a little bit bigger for you. On the left, a young mother and her son, as you can see, no father there. Today we supplied her at her feet, you can see, with formula, diapers, things for the kids. It's great. On the right, another little girl that came into the shelter as a refugee, and she did not have any shoes. But the volunteer right there, as you can see, we went out and bought her shoes. So this little girl, all pumped up, she's got new tennis shoes. In fact, they're not just tennis shoes. They are cool tennis shoes. Look like some Chuck Taylors there almost, with some bright yellow shoestrings. So that is what we're doing on the ground in reality. On the left is a family that we had to help with food today. They have no food and no money. On the right is another family that we helped. They have a place to stay, just no money, no food. We supplied them with food. And the interesting thing about the family on the right, the father and husband is an officer in the Ukraine military, and he is on the front lines. So that lady's husband and those children's father is in the midst of the battle, and we were able to supply them. Not only that, the supplies that we sent out yesterday to Kharkiv from Khmelnytsky arrived. That is not a joke with the smiley faces. I'm not allowed to show the faces of the soldiers. There's certain things that they ask me to do, and that actually comes from the Ukrainian government. So I asked Jane, I said, is it okay if we pop a smiley face on there? I mean, I can blur it, because both of these soldiers were smiling, and you can see the guy on the left giving the thumbs up. We were able to supply backpacks, a bulletproof vest, medical supplies, tourniquets, and the guy on the right, that is actually one piece of night vision optic. These guys are pumped up. You can see the guy, he's got his gun on his shoulder on the right, and he's now got night vision, and these guys are in Kharkiv, which is a very, very big time area of battle. Those are so cute. I'd wear those. That's back to those tennis shoes. Nathan, 36 days, sky's still open. What are they doing? They're afraid, man. They are afraid. It's very simple. But we'll see. Things are going to change. I'm telling you right now, things are going to change. Let's keep going, because I want to show you this. UN put out new numbers. Just think about this for a moment, folks. 2 million children have fled the war in Ukraine to seek safety in other countries. 2.5 million children are displaced within the country. And 60% of all Ukrainian children have been forced from their homes. Just think about that for a moment. 60%. You know, I've been covering the city of Mykolaiv that is occupied by the Russian military. That is a city where the mayor, remember his name a couple of weeks ago, Ivan Fedorov, was kidnapped. He was taken away to Lugansk. 5 days later, he was traded for 9 POWs. He's back in Melitopol. And of course, it's under Russian occupation. But he was there reporting today that they closed all the schools because the schools were requiring them to teach Russian propaganda, Russian methods of learning. Now, the Russian methods of learning, good. They've got really good schools in Russia. But the propaganda, and there was no Ukraine, nothing. So the headmasters and the teachers have refused to teach. Could be a little dangerous. But think about this. Schools closed, 60% of all children displaced. And when these people are able to return home, when we win the war, which we will win the war, I'm telling you, we're going to win the war. When these people return home, it's going to be a huge challenge. Many of them have no homes to go to. You know, I don't know who sung the song, but the reality is we've only just begun. Zingster, thank you for that super chat there. And Chido Jr., I see you, boss. Thank you, guys. Big shout outs. Thank you for all your support. love and care. Folks, we are doing amazing. We sent more resources to Ukraine today, and you can see each night we try to show you where you're giving, where you're helping, everything that we're doing together. We're doing what President Zelensky asked, and that was tell the truth, get the message out, one person by one person. And then we have taken it a step further with the humanitarian aid, which honestly, the best thing we can do is to be blessing them with finances. And, you know, the statement I've been using is just an Applebee's meal a week. That's it. If everybody gives an Applebee's meal a week, and think about this, when you share this to your neighbors and to your friends, and we have more and more and more viewers, those Applebee meals, they begin to add up real quick. So that's the deal with the children there. Now, I'm ready for this one. Are you guys ready for this one? How about some good news? Now, I think it was Charles Powell that was in here a few minutes ago saying, okay, drop some truth. All right, are you guys ready for some truth? I'm going to give you some truth tonight. I'm going to show you what liberation means, what freedom means, and the beauty of Ukrainian people, grandmothers, grandfathers. I'm telling you right now, this is going to touch your heart, and I've got some tough things to share with you tonight, but I wanted to start with something that's going to put a smile on your face. And of course, we're going to end in 42 minutes with a smile on your face. Let's start right here tonight. This is in one of the little towns that has been liberated yesterday. You talking about some joy on people's faces, hearts, minds. Just watch.
Дякую, дякую. Ще дій не закінчився.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Ми потім прийдемо, потім.
The people are giving them food.
Це ще перший захід. Напевно, ще будемо ще виходити, заходити.
На Жигулях їздять! На Жигулях! П'яні, як эти. Там только что в хату с пулемета прилетело.
Да?
Ой, мать, работника нет.
Look at the granny.
Добрий вечір, ми з України. Ми з України. Бабулечка, це вам дякую, вибачте, що запустили і все.
Та слава Богу. Ні, там місні. Вони просто тушать пожари, йдуть. Дома подовбали.
Тому що не бачимо, як подожали.
The Ukrainian soldier told the little grandma out there at the end, and she's so thankful. She's bowing down. Thank you. They liberated that little village. And I don't know if you could read it quick enough, but the Ukrainian soldier said to her, "Ma'am, we are sorry that we even let the Russians come here." It just, that's a good way to start the night, folks. That's a good way to start the night. Yesterday, during the negotiations, which we know are a joke, irrelevant, put them off the table, there's nothing happening but war. There was a strike on the regional headquarters of the Mykolaiv region. So this building that you see here would be the county courthouse building in a county, or the state, depending on what side you look at it, because these are bigger than counties, not as big as states, but they're the regional centers. There's 24 of them in Ukraine. And yes, I count Crimea, Lugansk, and Donetsk. There's 24. Let's just call them states. And each state has a name. This one is Mykolaiv. And this is the regional headquarters building, all the state government offices. During the negotiations yesterday, a cruise missile took out this building. So far, they have recovered 20 people from under the rubble who have lost their life. That cruise missile went during the negotiations. I already knew it yesterday, but I didn't have any confirmation on fatalities or results. At least 20. They're still digging the rubble. The building is a complete loss. It will have to be razed to the ground and completely rebuilt. That is Mykolaiv. Now, some intelligence data coming out tonight from General Staff. And this is what we're talking about. Despite Russian statements, and you can see I'm giving you the March 31, that's today, the update today from General Staff and the Intelligence Department. Despite Russian statements indicating an intended reduction of military activity around Chernihiv, significant Russian shelling and missile strikes have continued. Russian forces continue to hold positions to the east and west of Kyiv. But I thought it said on Fox News that they were leaving. I'm pretty sure on Newsmax they were leaving. On CNN, they're not leaving. We told you. Zhenya told you last night. They're rotating. It's all a game, folks. Putin, in his mind, cannot lose. But I'm here to tell you, Putin cannot win, and evil must be defeated. That's it. There's no way he can stay in office. Biden backtracked, then he came back. He did. He came back and said, okay, I'm sticking with my words. That's fine. But Boris Johnson yesterday came out and said there must be a president change, and he didn't back up at all. Folks, this is where we're at right now. It's a full-blown war, and do not believe anything you see on Western media. Russian forces continue to hold positions to the east and west of Kyiv. Despite the withdrawal of a limited number of units, heavy fighting will likely take place in the suburbs of the city in coming days. What suburbs? What city? Kyiv. Heavy fighting continues in Mariupol. I'm going to tell you something crazy about Mariupol in just a few minutes. We knew this was coming. You probably haven't seen this yet. I just got the document. I'm going to tell you what it is in just a few minutes. A key objective of Russian forces, however, Ukrainian forces remain in control. The Azov is still standing firm in the center of the city. But folks, it's coming close around them. So when you see on your news that the Russian military, and remember, I make the stipulation, there's wonderful Russian people. I love them very much. But the Russian military that is doing these barbaric acts under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, okay, that's off the table. That's inhumane. You're not even fighting a war. You're just playing with people, and it's unacceptable. These are the people that are saying they're coming to liberate and destroy Nazis and fascism. Folks, today, Ukrainian soldier recovered a belt worn by a Russian soldier. I'm not showing you how he got the belt, but you can put two and two together. He won the battle. But look at the belt he pulled off the guy.
Воюем против нацистов.
Do you see it?
Пришли нас типа
Swastika?
денацифицировать, блядь. И сфотай просто фото. Ебать.
Oh, but we're the Nazis. We're the ones they're coming to clean out of Nazism and fascism. And he pulled a belt with a swastika off of the soldier. In fact, I'm going to show you guys some more about that in just a few moments. I want to get to General Staff and President Zelensky because that's going to lead us into what is next. President Zelensky today, this is what he said. He made a couple of statements, and he also addressed the parliament in the Netherlands. So in his address to the Ukrainians, he said, Russian missiles and air bombs hit our cities and civilian infrastructure every day. There are no forbidden targets for Russian troops. They attack everything from hospitals to airports, from grocery stores to residential areas. But we stand and we continue to fight. As long as we have the strength to keep these invaders from taking our land. On the north of Kyiv, in the direction of Chernihiv, in the Sumy region, we are fighting our best to push back. But there will be battles ahead. There is still a very difficult way to go. The situation in the south and in Donbass, which is the east, remain extremely difficult for us. And in Mariupol, Russian troops are accumulating quickly, and they are amassing the potential for massive, powerful strikes on our land. When President Zelensky spoke to the Dutch parliament today, as always, he reminded them of World War II. He said the Second World War also began with the destruction of only one country, and Ukraine is just the beginning. Many people in Russia want to carry their aggression further into Europe. Therefore, it is important that we work together to stop Moscow now. He then made a statement, and this is why we do what we do. He says 36 days. People in the world now are kind of starting to get used to hearing the news about the bombing of our cities, the genocide of our people, and the war in our land. It becomes a normal routine while our citizens are constantly shelled. Please continue to tell our message, and please continue to help us. That's what we're doing. We're not going to stop. Zelensky called on the Netherlands to close all their ports for Russian ships and please provide Ukraine with anti-aircraft and anti-tank weapons. He then made a statement because Ukraine is a huge exporter of food to the Dutch people. Think about it. He says Russia is destroying our agricultural potential of our country. And one of their goals is to provoke a food crisis in our world. General Staff said Russia continues to transfer missile units to Belarus in order to increase the intensity of ballistic missile attacks on the territory of Ukraine. In the north of Ukraine, the enemy is not retreating. Did you guys hear that? It doesn't matter what you're seeing on your regular news. These are the generals. This is the president. In the north of Ukraine, the enemy is not retreating. They are simply regrouping and reorganizing. And in the Kherson and Izum directions, the troops are strengthening even more against us. General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine also reports today, 31st of March, 2022, that the Russians are transferring further mercenaries from the Middle East to the East, and they are depositing new Iskander rocket launchers on Belarus. This will increase the intensity of their blows. Now, folks, I'm going to show you what that is. This is what he's talking about. I'll make it bigger for you. This is what is being deployed to Belarus right now. This is the Iskander missile system. You know, you think these are little rockets that are being sent to Ukraine? Folks, it's not. This is seriously heavy, heavy, heavy. And if any of you have been in Eastern Europe, or you've been in Ukraine, or you've been in Russia, you realize that these buildings that are being destroyed, they're very, very strong buildings. These big huge apartment buildings are not built out of wood. They're built out of concrete and steel, and they're very, very strong. But this Iskander missile system that's being deployed, there's two types. There's a smaller type that has a 31-mile range, and then there's the larger type that has a 310-mile range. Mach 5.9. This can send hypersonic missiles. It is also complete with multi-type navigational. It's not just GPS. It can do multiple types. For example, one of the things that Russia is doing right now is they're going through the land and they're putting landmines down. In fact, I'm going to show you a video in a second of some normal landmines on the road from Boryanka, where many of the refugees that have come to us in Khmelnytsky have had to navigate through this on their way there. But these other types of mines, and I'm sure that some of the military guys in here can confirm this, they're not only mines, but they're also sensors. So when the military deploys these mines, it also can become a targeting system for where to send the missiles. It's extremely high tech. Do not look at that and think that's just a bucket of rust. That right there is a killer. It can carry conventional warheads, regular munitions. It can carry cluster munitions. It can carry fuel air explosives. It can carry bunker buster. It can carry electromagnetic. And yes, these are nuclear capable for tactical nukes and thermonuclear. I sound like my father. Thermonuclear. Yes, it can carry a nuke. So these are being deployed to Belarus. This is how Khmelnytsky was hit. This is how some of the other cities near Belarus are hit, because these missiles are flying extremely low. And they're flying so fast that the anti-aircraft batteries and the technology that Ukraine has can't stop them all. They're doing an amazing job. And for sure, an airplane, a jet can't stop these. No, this has to have certain defensive anti-aircraft, and that's what Ukraine is asking for. We have talked about Slavuch. This is a report from the mayor of Slavuch. In fact, if you look at the first two words there, you see MEP, which is actually MER, and it's mer. That's the word for mayor. And then the city name, Slavutich. And then Yuri Fomichov. So the mayor put out this information. I translated it. Today, in many settlements, it was noticed that the enemy was leaving or rotating in and out. So far, we do not know for sure what this movement is going, but we do know that the Ukrainian National Guardsmen, which were held hostage from the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, have been taken away. We do not know where they are. So in this rotation out, in this rotation in, as he said, we don't know where they're going, but what we can tell you is our National Guardsmen are gone. This is a special troop of National Guardsmen that are deployed in that area specifically for the protection of Chernobyl. Very, very, very important. Now, why is it so dangerous? So the family that came to us from Bryansk, you remember Zhenya saying last night that they had a very, very difficult way to get there? Well, let me show you why. Folks, this is real. You come here at night, 9 o'clock Eastern, to get the truth. I'm telling you right now, this is real video. You're not going to believe it. And here's what you're going to ask while you're watching it. Why aren't they removing the mines? Who's going to remove them? There is nobody. They barely have enough weapons and ammo to do what they're doing. They don't have many anti-mine regiments right now. They're trying to hold off the Russian military. It's not a priority to demine the road. It's a priority to save people who are being slaughtered in these cities under such onslaught. Here you go. This is leaving Berdyansk. One guy out there filming and one guy out there directing them. Not military, just citizens helping one another. And yeah, I know it's easy to say for us as Americans with the greatest military in the history of the world, we'll just put a regiment out there to remove the mines. They're not available. We'll just blow the mines up. Then the road's gone. They're stuck. So citizens are helping each other. What did Barney say?
Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their neighbor. Repeat, now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their neighbor.
That's what's happening. They're helping each other. It will blow the road up. Exactly. Now, folks, I am going to show you a video today now. And you know what? Maybe you're new here tonight, so you don't really understand all these places I'm talking about. We're really focused on Kyiv right now and the areas north of it. Let me erase this and then we'll zoom in here and I'll show you. So where the road was mined, and I will show you. Let's go blue for Ukraine. Here's Kyiv. And here is Bordyanka. Right there is where the road was mined. Now, earlier, just a few moments ago, we were talking about the town of Slavuch, which is right here, which supports, it's the working town for Chernobyl. And now we're going to talk about Chernihiv. Today, and let me just show you. Remember, this is all north of Kyiv, where everything's supposed to be calming down. It's not. There's just a rotation. They're coming, man. They're coming. But they're going to be defeated. Thank you for that, blood. Chernihiv. Today, a column of minibuses attempted to flee to safety. I have had to edit this video. You will not see any people, but you're going to see a column of evacuation minibuses, little vans that were shelled, simply trying to escape. No military, just people. And that is why I tell you guys quite often, there is no way to know how many people have been killed in this war. It's not possible to know. 5,000 in Mariupol? Not even close. And I say that with all respect. The reality is we do not know. But I can tell you that on the road from Chernihiv, with people trying to escape to safety toward Kyiv, this is what happened today. I've had to put a filter around it, sunflower, but you're going to see the vans and you're going to hear a couple of young fellas that walked up on this site. I'll translate them for you.
На пробитых скатах раненый хлопчик. Мы его дальше доправили. А вот то слева, то, что осталось.
Oh, look on the left, look on the left.
Да, девочка.
Then, oh, it's a little girl.
Еще. Вот так твари что делает. Да, да, да. Вот, да, девочка. Это та с дредами, Андрюха.
Oh, there's 3 people.
Это та с дредами девчонка.
Девчонки стреляют, да?
С дредами. А вон, смотри, на этом же. С дредами, та, что на садике. Думаешь?
Да, это мозги.
О, жесть. Просто
Oh,
жесть.
this is
Смотрите, что
awful.
твари делают.
What is
Что
going
делают.
on?
Будем сейчас как-то пытаться выбраться отсюда. Не знаю как.
No.
О, Господи.
Oh, Господи. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. Folks, if you want to know the reality, there it is. I covered it as best as I could with the sunflowers. But that's the reality of what's happening in Ukraine every day. Britain came out this afternoon and said, we're going to send more lethal aid to Ukraine, including long-range artillery, ammunition, and other anti-aircraft weapons. And the United States, the Pentagon, came out today and said, it's obvious Russia is focusing strikes on 4 areas, including Kyiv. The Pentagon said that Russians will soon concentrate their airstrikes on Kyiv, Chernihiv. I mean, what is going to be left in Chernihiv? It's going to be another Mariupol. It's going to be another Kharkiv. It's gone. Izum, which is in the east, and Donbass. Remember last night I was teaching you about the pinch. The pinch is in play, folks. And this is one of the reasons that Russia is rotating some troops to the east. It's not because they're giving up other directions, but strategically here, this is all they're trying to do. It's simple. They're simply wanting to draw Ukraine in and then put the pinch on them. This is why the Pentagon came out and said, listen, these are the regions. These are the regions. That's why Britain sending more and more resources. In fact, today, this hit, I'm sure you guys saw this. I did not. I just saw it. It was sent back to me. And they said, Greg, have you seen this on your own news? I said, no, I do not watch my own news. I'm watching yours. And this statement today that I'm getting ready to show you, that I'm sure many of you have already seen, I do not know, but this comes out of the State Department, was different. And the Ukrainians picked up on it. Let me play it. You may have seen this, just a clip here. Listen to the State Department representative. Pay attention to what he says.
We take seriously our responsibility to inform U.S. citizens about developments that may impact their safety and security when they are traveling or residing outside of the United States. In recent weeks, as you've heard, we have seen reports that Russian security officials have singled out and detained U.S. citizens in Ukraine and in Russia itself. We have also heard President Putin denigrate equality, free speech, and human rights for all. For these reasons, we are warning U.S. citizens that the Russian government security officials in both Russia and in Ukraine may be singling out U.S. citizens based on their nationality. Our updated travel advisories now reflect that information. We reiterate that all U.S. citizens in Russia and Ukraine should depart immediately.
Did you hear it? We've updated, and now all Americans in Ukraine and Russia should leave immediately. Well, Ukraine ran with this today, folks, because they're looking for intelligence. And yes, other nations are sharing intelligence. But with the movement of all these systems, phosphorus weapons being used, which is illegal, and then the repositioning of these Iskander missile vehicles, there's some nervousness going on. I'm just telling you. And Ukraine paid attention to this very, very closely today. JDO, you're right. Covering up the horror of what real war is, don't we help promote future war by covering up how horrific it actually is? People need to see why war is to be avoided at all costs. I do not disagree with you. I would agree with that. I just have to be careful because I do not want to be taken down. And our audience is wide ranging. Maybe we'll do a stream sometime with images that are full, but we'll do it in a safe way. But you're right. But we have to be careful. Those bots are looking at everything I share. It's really interesting because when I do the titling and all this stuff, I get warnings because I have Ukraine in the title or Russia in the title, and it just says, be careful. And I would rather describe it to you, show it to you, so I can stay online to tell the truth. Slovakia today told Russia that it's taking, or it is kicking out 35 diplomats out of its country. So here's just another country falling into place to, it's just stirring the pot, folks. Slovakia. Today, Mario Draghi, Italian prime minister, had a conversation with Vladimir Putin, of course, the president of Russia, and asked him, have we made it to the ceasefire yet? And Putin's response was, our conditions for a ceasefire have not yet been met. In fact, I'm going to play about 20 seconds of this, and I'll tell you what he's saying.
Мною подписан указ, который устанавливает правила торговли российским природным газом с так называемыми недружественными государствами. Мы предлагаем контрагентам из таких стран понятную и прозрачную схему.
He goes on to talk for about another 60 seconds, but I'll tell you what he was saying. He says, today I signed a decree requiring that gas be paid for in rubles. I understand that the European nations and those that owe us finance want to pay in euros or dollars. That is fine. You may pay in euros or dollars, but you must pay a bank in the euros and dollars, have it converted to rubles, and then sent to us so that payment is received in rubles. If this is not done, tomorrow I reserve the right to turn the gas off. That's what he said. We'll see. And it's already tomorrow there, by the way. NATO, here's Jens Stoltenberg. I'm telling you, a lot of stuff happened today. Russia is regrouping forces and preparing new offensive actions in Ukraine. So, folks, think about it logically. State Department puts out this information. Americans, get out of there, all of you. Stoltenberg comes out and says they're regrouping for new offensives. Last night, Zhenya even told us, and a guy there in the war zone, he's in the country, he said, we know wave 2 is coming. We've only made wave 1. Russian units, Jens Stoltenberg said, are not being withdrawn, but are regrouping. Russia's trying to regroup, restore, resupply, bolster its offensive in the Donbass. At the same time, Russia maintains pressure on Kyiv and other cities. Therefore, we can expect additional offensive actions that will bring even greater suffering, said the NATO General Secretary, Jens Stoltenberg. Finland today, NATO gave them a free pass to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Finland is not a member. They are on the border there with Russia. If Finland decides to apply to join NATO, it will be able to quickly get membership in the alliance, said the Secretary General Stoltenberg. Finnish President Sauli Niinistö, said earlier that NATO membership would increase tensions with Russia, but provide the most adequate security for the Finnish people. Folks, if Finland joins NATO, JDO, you are 100% correct. Germany has no choice but to comply with paying in rubles. They're just going to make a way to make it happen. 45% of their gas. You are spot on with that information, bud. In fact, it's like 53% of Europe requires the gas from Russia. But Germany, it's critical for them. So if Finland joins NATO, folks, we'll see. Lithuania came out today. There's our president, Gitanas Nausėda. You know what? You're learning all this about Europe, Ukraine, and Russia. It's like you're beginning to know these people now. Gitanas Nausėda, the president of Lithuania, came out today and declared that 3 places Lithuania is deeming as terroristic states: Russia, Belarus, and then he said, occupied Crimea. What does that mean? That means that it's occupied and it's not yours. Russia, Belarus, and Crimea. Folks, do you see the pressure? It's like there's a reason the State Department came out today and said Americans leave. I'm telling you. There's a reason today that Jens Stoltenberg said we see a new wave coming. There's a reason that Russia is redeploying and moving its forces in certain ways. There's a reason that Zelensky came out today and said, listen, it's tough. Something going on. Here's what's going on. Make this bigger for you. Maybe you didn't know this, but this is just a little zoomed in map here of Crimea in the middle. Let's basically that island peninsula there. That's Crimea. That's the territory that is Ukraine that Russia annexed illegally in 2014. You have the Sea of Azov to the right. That is where 80% of Ukraine's exports pass through out of Mariupol, Bryansk, and then, of course, in the Black Sea through Odessa. That's what keeps them from being landlocked. And then they go through the straits through Turkey into the Mediterranean. And then, of course, they can move out then into the Atlantic Ocean or go through the Suez Canal and head down through the Persian Gulf or through the Suez Canal and pop down toward the, where does that go? How did I forget? Stinking. How on earth did I forget the Suez Canal? Yeah, I'm right. Down into the Gulf of Aden in Arabian Sea and then to the Pacific. All right, got it. This is vital for Ukraine. But I want you to look at something. They're expecting right now on the left, this is the updates from today, from Odessa. Russia is going to shell Odessa and other regions of Ukraine with Caliber missiles fired from the Admiral Makarov frigate stationed in Sevastopol. This was announced by the Speaker of the Odessa Regional Military Administration, Sergei Brachuk. Unfortunately, the probability of launching missile strikes on Odessa, the Odessa region, and other regions of our state remains high. The threat is constant. We are talking, first of all, about Caliber-type sea-launched cruise missiles. Maybe you do not know how big Russia's military is and how great of a job Ukraine's doing. Just in the naval forces in the Black Sea, Ukraine has 66 vessels and 11,000 service members. In the Black Sea, Russia has 2,800 vessels and 25,000 service members. Just let that sink in for a second. 66 vessels versus 2,800. I told you about the creation of Mariupol, or it's a big big development with Mariupol, and that's going to take us to the place where we're going to close tonight on the topic or the title, which was Abkhazia. Is that the plan for Ukraine? Today, it was released by the Donetsk Oblast, which is the DNR, that they would be creating an administration in the city of Mariupol. That is signed today. There's the official stamps of the Federation. Basically, what that document does right there says we have Mariupol and we're taking it over. The Nazis lost because of Stalingrad. Putin is going to lose because of Kyiv. Russians will never take full control of Kyiv, ever. I agree with you, 100%. In Jesus' name. Creation of Mariupol, folks. They're already planning that Mariupol is going to be there. So the paperwork has been filed that Mariupol will be a transferred city to the Donetsk People's Republic. Kind of crazy. Kind of crazy. It brings us to what I wanted to share with you tonight, guys, and that is Abkhazia. Here is a map. This is Georgia, and you have South Ossetia, and you have the region of Abkhazia. Let me pull this up on the big map so that you guys can see it. And I think this will help you. You can see the zoomed in map there, but let me pull it over here just real quick. So Ukraine is right here. Of course, this is all Russia. And then you've got Georgia. So this is how we're talking. We're zoomed in now to the map that shows the Georgia part. Well, Abkhazia is the northwest portion of Georgia. Abkhazia is potentially a preview of what Russia wants to do with Donetsk, Lugansk, Kharkiv, Mariupol, and other cities that they will conquer. I want to remind you of something tonight, that Russia does not need these cities. Russia doesn't need Mariupol. Russia doesn't need Donetsk. It doesn't need Lugansk. It doesn't need these cities. It's not trying to have more territory. They're having a population crisis. They do not have enough land. Russia, the territory of Russia covers 11 time zones. They've got plenty of land. It's not the issue. They don't need to expand. No, all they want is the connectivity to the Black Sea. They want that bridge. They call it, we're denazifying. Folks, that is a joke. What they want is just the access to the Black Sea, the access into Europe, and the barrier to protect their empire. This is what happened in Abkhazia. Abkhazia is a region there in the red circle that dates back to the 13th century BC. Very, very historic, very beautiful, very like healing land. People would go there to be healed. It's on the Black Sea. They would go there to rest. It's beautiful mountains. There were cities. This is now a de facto land, meaning it's non-functioning. About the time of Jesus, this region of Abkhazia under the Roman Empire was a very strategic place and very important place to the Empire of Rome. Very desirable. But in the 80s, Abkhazia did exactly what Donetsk did. They said, we're separating. They did in 2014. They did the same thing that Lugansk did. We're separating. Come save us, Russia. Come save us, Russia. We're Russian people. Come save us. all manipulated, all with a long-term plan, all with a strategy to take that territory. 1992, 1993, there was an Abkhazian war. Russia supported. Abkhazia fell and became a part of the Russian Empire. Since 1993, Abkhazia has honestly went to nothing. This beautiful place for thousands of years, beautiful towns, beautiful cities, is now gone. The reason I titled it tonight, Is It Possible That Ukraine, specifically Mariupol, Lugansk, Donetsk, you ask, why are they scorching the earth? Why are they leveling every building? Nobody can live there. You can't rebuild in 1 year. This is not going to happen. Exactly. You got it. This is exactly what happened to Abkhazia. Tonight, my friends, I did get it edited, and I'm going to show you Abkhazia. What used to be beautiful. Now take a look. Former hospital, it said. School. Living homes. Government building. City sign. The hammer and sickle. Factories. Train station. And there you have it, folks. And that is a possibility. I'm telling you right now. You can see that city right there. And I could have shown videos of many, many cities. We had that one. I was able to edit it up. The city used to have 30,000 people in it. Gone. And there's city after city after city after city. Could it be the plan? I think it's highly possible because these places are being leveled. There's no way. they'll just let them grow. Finally tonight, and I'm going to show you the happy song. If you are interested in getting a t-shirt, this is an advertisement, and these guys have done a great job so far, raised over $900, and she wants to get to 1,000. You can either get the regular gray or the marble thinner. You can choose either design. Prices start at $20. I can also ship if you aren't local. To order, please send me an email, mjohnson042 @yahoo.com. And thank you to all who have ordered. And if you say, well, I didn't get the email real quick, you can just, as soon as I'm finished, back up on the stream and pause it, and you can write it down, mjohnson042 @yahoo.com. As always, folks, thank you for being here. But I'm going to put a smile on your face. As always, y'all just hang out. I promised you a smile tonight. It's about 50 seconds. About 50 seconds. It's worth your night. I may play this multiple nights. This is incredible. But before I do that, thank you for being here. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for being a part. Thank you for telling others. Thank you for giving. Thank you for praying. Thank you for everything. And of course, we'll see you in 23 hours. Every day, it changes tremendously. Going to show you a quick clip of a Ukrainian soldier playing a traditional flute. Okay? And this is why we have to think about people, not always nations. They're between battles. He's laid back, kind of like a World War II video almost, and he's playing the flute. A classical Ukrainian melody. Well, some musicians in China get a hold of it, and they want to support Ukraine. Of course, it's China. So they got together, added a little bit of music to it, sent it back, the power of technology, and they said, hey, we stand with you, Ukraine, even from China. This is super cool. Give it about 50 seconds. Then you can go get your popcorn and watch reruns of Sanford and Son. Hang on. Well, that'll put a smile on your face. You know what? You can't beat musicians. And, you know, when you want to think bad about a nation, you go, oh, them Chinese. Listen, there's wonderful people in every country. China and Russia, North Korea, Pakistan, all of them. Created by God, and everybody needs Jesus. We love you guys. We will see you in 23 more hours. I'll have Jane in here with me tonight, either tomorrow night, either pre-recorded or live. Be blessed. See you in 23 hours. Good night. Hello. How'd you know I was finished streaming? Oh, you did? We know them Chinese playing that music. Did you see Abkhazia too? Did you see anything before that? You didn't see Abkhazia? I don't know. I'm in the studio with the door closed. I just finished streaming. I think she's at Mimos.